Mustang, 69 Mustang.
69 Camaro.
I'm sorry, I apologize. 69 Camaro. Oh, sorry, Chevy people.
Welcome back to Christina's Garage Gearhead and Training. I am here for day 3 of SEMA. There are a couple people I want to talk to today. Let's go meet up with them. I'm here with Kell with Blueprint Engines. We just met today. I've heard about crate engines before, but I don't know too much. Could you please tell us about what you guys do specifically?
Yeah, absolutely. So we specialize in a performance crate engine, full package. So they're all for street use. We do have some customers that use them in racing applications, but we design them for 91 octane and street use. And then what we specialize in is Ford, GM, and Chrysler. Have small block, big block, and LS for GM, and then small block Fords and small block Chrysler, and we do have some 3rd gen Hemi options also.
Wow, that's a lot of options. So how do you determine what you'll do for a client?
So what we'll, that's an excellent question. A lot of customers don't know. They kind of have an idea what they want, but if you don't know, that's totally okay. Just call us direct. We'll help you with the whole process. Generally, we're going to start with what are you going to put it in, all right? That's going to answer a lot of questions. If it had a small block 350 in it already, then it's like, okay, we can put a small block back in it, and you're not going to have to customize or modify that much. And then next question is going to be what horsepower level do you want, all right? Because I'm going to have everything from 340 horsepower all the way up to over 1,000.
And if someone doesn't know, like someone for myself, I'm going to try to build my own, but I know that some people don't want to. Like they want to get into it. Maybe they have a project to work on. They don't know much about engines. Do you guys help them with that process?
So since we do the complete engine and I don't sell individual parts, like I don't sell cranks, rods, pistons individually, I just specialize in the full package. I'm not going to be the best at helping you rebuild your engine or build that custom engine. But we have over 250 different combinations. So in general, I'm going to have that engine you need, and you can purchase it from us. A lot of times, it's going to be less expensive than building it yourself. And then it also comes with a warranty of 30 months, 50,000 miles, and it's all brand new. We do a new block, new aluminum heads, roller cam. So those are all going to be upgrades from what the existing engine had.
So it's a great option for people that don't want to spend all the time trying to learn, and that they're like, I want to build my own engine, but don't have the experience to do it or don't want to spend the time or doing all that.
Absolutely. We fully understand the people that want the experience of rebuilding their own. Absolutely. We support that. Great, do it. If you don't have the time or you get halfway into it and you decide, nah, I'm just going to buy one that has a warranty, has been ran and tested, we're going to be the perfect option for you.
And you mentioned dyno. Could
Yes.
you explain that? Because I've kind of heard it in passing, but I have, could you explain?
Yeah, absolutely. So every single engine we are going to run and test it on a dyno. Now a dyno is just a way of measuring how much power the engine made. So it's really cool to know how much power your engine made, but at the same time, the reason we're doing it, it's the best way to test it. So we're going to test oil pressure, we're going to test cylinder pressure, we're going to test exhaust temperature, and even down to the point where every single engine, when we're done, we take the oil filter and cut that oil filter and inspect it to make sure there's not excessive metal wear or any kind of oil leaks.
That's so cool. And you mentioned that you do different variants, like you're showing me this engine here versus that you were talking about the engine on the other side and kind of like the variants there. Could you explain that a little bit?
Absolutely. So right here we would have a small block Ford long block. So this is the least dressed version. So it's kind of that level of completeness, right? Now this is great if you're wanting to reuse your intake, reuse your carburetor, reuse your front drive, meaning you're maybe it's as simple as just an alternator. It's an alternator, power steering, and AC. This is going to bolt in the same as a factory 302, but this is a Blueprint engine 302, so it's an improved block. The exterior dimensions are the same, the mounting locations are the same, but internally we've improved it. It's going to have thicker cylinder wall, thicker webbing. It's going to handle quite a bit more horsepower. So that's really what we do, is we specialize in giving you better value, more horsepower for less. So all the way down to a long block, and then we also offer what we call our Builder Series. Now a Builder Series is going to be engine, transmission, and complete front drive, so power steering, alternator, and AC. And then when you get the Builder Series, say it's an LS or a Hemi, comes with the wiring harness, comes with the ECU, which is your engine control unit, comes with the fuse panel, and even an acceleration pedal, because these new modern engines are drive-by-wire versus drive-by-cable.
Oh, some people, that's a whole other thing I'm going to have to dive into myself, because some people have talked about that.
Yeah.
But that's really cool that you offer those different things, and I didn't realize that's why it's called Blueprint engines. That makes so much sense, and that's cool because like I'm going to be trying to reuse my block, but as you said, like you're making it fit and look like how it originally would, but you're making it function better. That is so cool.
Yeah, yep, based on the original design, so it bolts in the same. You're not going to have block fitment issues. Yep. Yeah.
And so if someone was interested in following you guys, maybe looking into getting an engine from you, where should they look?
So the best place for technical support or questions, give us a call, 308-236-1010, and then you can see all of our engine options at blueprintengines.com. We're going to have pictures, specs, horsepower rating, everything. And you can also contact us directly on the website also, and we'll respond as quickly as possible.
Perfect. And I'm going to put all that stuff in the description, so if you guys are interested, you can check it out. Thank you so much, Kell. I really, really appreciate it. This is super cool, and I can't wait to see like what stuff you guys come up in the future.
Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing your build, and keep us updated.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm here with Miguel with Wilwood Disc Brakes. A little bit background, when I got all my stuff that I inherited from my dad, he had a bunch of Wilwood brakes. I didn't really know much about them, and they've been really great, and I'm hoping that Miguel can share some of that information with you guys so you can learn a little bit about the brand as well. So
I'd be happy to.
what do you guys do? I know you do disc brakes, but like, what do you guys do?
Wilwood is actually an engineering company first.
Okay.
So it's not just brakes, we go deeper into that as far as the engineering. We do all of it in-house. So the difference between us and some other manufacturers, because there are ones that are on the same level as us, we do everything in-house, from the engineering design to the R&D work to the manufacturing, all the way to the end product, the boxing and all that. That all gets done at our main facility in Southern California.
And I'm going to be going down to see it.
Yes, you are.
In December. I'm very, very excited about that because I like the details and understanding things.
Right. It'll be awesome because you get to see not just the machining and everything on the video, you get to see it live. We have over 46 machines, CNC machines, millers, and everything. From that process to every caliper being assembled by hand process, you're going to be able to see that. It's going to be really cool.
So you do brakes,
yes.
Like just the brakes, but what else like within that system?
We also do the supporting components. For a lot of the classic applications, in some cases we'll do an upgraded spindle. Either a drop spindle or a standard ride height, upgraded spindle. We do the components that surround, specifically on this kit, you'll see this is an aluminum hub that would go onto a Mustang 2 spindle. So when you get something, you're getting not just a rotor and a caliper, you're getting the lighter weight forged aluminum hub, along with the supporting pads, the hardware, all the way up to the master cylinder, the hydraulic lines, pressure valves. We support the entire unit because they all work together.
That's really cool. And like, I didn't know really anything about brakes. When it's specialized to the type of car.
Yes.
And you guys help with that, right? If people...
Totally. That's what we're here for. We're here to make sure you get the right components. The most common question we get at events is there a part number for everything? The answer is no, because there's different ways to attack a specific project. What are you doing with the vehicle? What is your end purpose? Is it a race car? Is it a street car? Are you doing the Optima Challenge? Are you doing road racing? Are you drifting? All those things matter to select the right parts and components. We have, you're building a Mustang, 69 Mustang.
69 Camaro.
I'm sorry, I apologize. 69 Camaro. Oh, sorry, Chevy people. 69 Camaro. is a very common chassis for us. The spindle's the same from 67 to 69, and that shares a spindle with every A-body Chevy from 66 to 72. So kit-wise, we have everything that'll fit a smaller wheel, like a 15-inch rally, all the way up to larger wheels. So we have kits from 11-inch diameter all the way up to 14-inch, small 4-piston all the way up to big 6-piston, drag race to road race, front and rear, along with multiple master cylinder options, pedal options, etc. So we have to, having one part number for everything doesn't work, because unfortunately, especially in the 60s and 70s, cars weren't built to very standard specifications. Your 69 Camaro might have a different rear end on a fully original other 69 Camaro because they had different parts that week when they were assembling the car.
That makes sense.
We have to get measurements, and that's what we're there to do, is to guide you properly so you know you're getting the right parts, because getting a 50-pound box of a kit and your front porch that you can't use is pretty annoying.
And it's cool, it seems you're very versatile with the type of cars, as you mentioned.
Yes.
Like you said racing, and like I'm doing a classic car, but like someone that might not be into like doing all of the car stuff, like if they just want to make their car look cool, is that like you guys sell to those people too?
Oh, totally. I mean, we have a lot of show cars surrounding us here at SEMA. We have a lot of performance cars surrounding us. And obviously the way we attack the brakes is performance-based first.
Okay.
But at the same time, this kit looks really cool inside of an 18-inch wheel, on a 69 Camaro. So the colors, as you can see in the background, are something that people are going to want. So we cater to the aesthetics as well. They don't just look good, they're designed to perform properly first, but we also understand that they have to look good because the aesthetics is very important as well. For many of us that are into cars, I'm a car person myself, so, and we cater to a wide range of vehicles. We have, the smallest caliper we have is for a go-kart. The largest caliper we have is a very large 6-piston caliper for a heavy-duty, late model truck. So we, like an F-350, so we can cater everything in between. So it's not just limited to one thing.
If someone is interested in learning more about Wilwood or want to follow you guys, maybe look into getting some stuff from themselves, where should they go?
Wilwood.com is always a great starting point. That's our website. It's very technical. We take a lot of pride in it. You can search by year, make, and model. You can search individual products. We have product technical diagrams for each individual product as well as the kits. From there, our social media is Wilwood Disc Brakes. Wilwood with one L, not Wildwood, Wilwood. Named after William Wood, our owner. But you could go onto social media through our Instagram, our TikTok. We have a YouTube channel that's going to start getting a little more active, which will be more technical on installation and development. And you can find us at a lot of events throughout the year, from hot rod to drifting to circle track, drag racing. We try to be to as many places as we can. We got a total of three to four teams of people that go out and do events. I do 12 events myself a year for Wilwood in Texas and central United States. But it's not hard to find us.
And if they want to look for your schedule of where you're going to be, do you have that on your website?
On our website does have a schedule. I don't know if we've updated to 2024 yet. We haven't locked that in, but everything's updated for the rest of the year. We will be at PRI. We will be at Dino's Hot Rod Show in Arizona. We'll also be at Good Guys Pleasanton. Those are the only ones I know off the top of my head going into the end of the year here.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's how I really got connected with them, was I went to Hot August Nights in Reno, and I was like, I don't know what to do, this is what I have, and I got hooked up with Mike. Like, he was so helpful, and you've been really great too.
Appreciate it.
Like, Miguel's introduced me. He was the one that told me to go to the She Shed and meet the gals over there. So it's really cool to see how awesome the community is,
yeah,
and like how great you guys have been to me. And I'm really excited to see you guys again in December. So thank you so much, Miguel.
Not a
I
problem.
really appreciate it.
And for anyone watching, if you do have questions about brakes, we do have a tech line. You can call it, Wilwood.com. You get the phone number there. They're there Monday through Friday to answer anything. Even if you don't have Wilwoods on it, we'll still help you try to figure out what's wrong.
Perfect. And I'm going to add all of that into the description so that you guys can get all of that information if you want to hear more. So Thank you so much.
Thank you, Christina.
I'm here with Vic with Wiseco Performance Products. I just met him today,
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool. If you guys know, I'm going to have to rebuild a 383 stroker, and I'm going to need parts. I need to understand why I would choose certain parts over others. I have no idea. So Vic is here to tell us a little bit about Wiseco, what makes them different, and a little bit about their history.
So Wiseco Piston started about 70 years ago in the power sports program, actually doing shifter carts and outboard marine engines, mainly for the owner's own personal racing program and his daughter's. And as it evolved, the demands got higher and higher, and they were originally cast pistons, like what you'd have in a lot of OEM parts, like a factory piston. So as the demands got higher, and then the cast piston kind of ran its course and it wasn't up to snuff, he started looking into forging pistons, where you would actually preheat an aluminum puck and then press it with a hydraulic press, and then pre-form it to a semi-finished shape of what you needed in the end, and then machine the rest of it. So that kind of kicked off an in-house program, which is really unique for Wiseco because we do our own in-house forgings, which not many other companies can do. It offers a weight reduction with minimal machining, which in the end makes a more affordable piston, and also the grain structure is stronger because it is basically a near net forging is what we like to call it, where it's almost finished to the complete size that we need. And it'll actually perform better because it's less resistant to cracking, deformation. It holds shape better and what have you. And then we also have full control over the heat treat to make it, what we want it to do for that given application.
And when you're forging,
Yep.
how do you choose, is it dependent on the type of engine and all that as to how you forge it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's mainly the design of the forging. We have what we call a full round forging, which is more like your more traditional engines, which is going to be a little more flexible, and it's not really going to be a very high RPM piston. It's just going to be basically your mild performance, And then there's a strutted forging, which is a lot more rigid, will hold its shape more resistant to deformation, it's basically a ring holder, so you don't want this thing moving around at very high RPM because then it'll lose ring seal, and that also equates to losing horsepower, because if your combustion goes past the rings, then you don't make any power pushing the piston. So the strutted forging, very popular for sport bikes, naturally aspirated high RPM, a stick shift Camaro, probably want a strutted forging because you get to rev it up real high. That's a perfect type of forging scenario for that. We do billets from a raw puck that's heat treated, and that's a fully machined high level piston where ultimate weight reduction is needed. The rigidity needs to stay there. That is basically a tailored suit version of a piston for that exact application. Everything in the entire crown of the piston is the exact same thickness, where a forging may have some variances across the deck because of minimal machining. The billet piston is something like you'd see in a pro stock NHRA motor, comp eliminator, super stock, or a sprint car. Those are all areas where a billet design is more needed. But the strutted is for most street and strip and most race applications can usually get it done.
So for me, 383 stroker, I don't know how much horsepower I'm going to want to put in it. What would be the first step that I would need to do? Because I'm just using the block.
Sure.
And I'm not going to reuse any of the components that were in there originally.
So you determine your stroke, which in this case is 3.75 inches. Popular choice for the rod length would be 6 inches. And a 1/120 compression height with the 1/120 compression height is the center line of where the wrist pin goes, where the rod connects to the pin to this deck. So it's 1.120 inches. So if you change the rod length from 6 inch to 5.7, we need to move that wrist pin down to accommodate that shorter rod, so that the piston still, when the piston's all the way up, it's still in the same spot. So when you change the rod length, you have to move that wrist pin. So we could have the same exact piston, have two different part numbers, just because of what rod you chose to use. In your case, the 3750 stroke with the 6-inch rod is very popular. When we have multiple offerings on that application for the street and full race.
So would forge be a good option for
absolutely.
me? Okay.
Mainly because today, it's with all the options out there for cylinder heads, ignition, fuel control. I mean, so easy to make high horsepower, race car level horsepower. It's just a way to go because honestly, it's pretty much the same cost. You can put a thinner ring package in it, which will actually do better with oil control, less oil consumption, and better horsepower. And also, in the end, I mean, you're actually, especially being a street driver, the thinner rings don't have as much friction because they're not as thick.
Okay.
So it'll actually get better gas mileage too. So,
That would be nice,
yeah.
especially
And lower emissions. We all worry about that today. That's, if it's not burning oil, it's obviously not producing as many emissions. So.
And especially in California, you need to be mindful
Absolutely.
about the gas.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely going to be talking to you because
Yeah.
I need to figure out, where I'm going to start and really dive into it. So
Yep.
I really appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely.
If someone wants to look into your company, maybe they might want to learn a little bit more, where should they go?
Well, we should go to wiseco.com or call us at 800-321-1364 and talk to one of our sales agents. We'd be more than happy to help. We're part of Race Winning Brands, which is a combination of 22 brands, including Manley, Haltech, MGP rods, Diamond pistons, JE pistons, TSI, Transgo. From the radiator back to the rear end, we've got a lot of options to help you with Race Winning Brands.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Vic.
All right,
I really
thank you.
appreciate it, and we'll be talking soon.
Awesome, thank you.
This is Greg with Motive Gear and Richmond Transmission. He's the one he's why I'm here. I'm so grateful. I'm gonna attempt not to cry, but I wouldn't be here without you being so amazing. After my dad passed 3 years ago, I went to Hot August Nights in Reno and was like, I have these transmissions, I don't know what I have, can you help me? And it's kind of been history since then. So I'm really looking forward to us doing more together, but I really want to highlight what you guys do. So tell us a little bit about, specifically, we're talking about Motive Gear and what sets it apart. Why would someone want to look to Motive Gear for these parts over others?
Okay, so what happened was 1996, I started with Motive Gear, and we just did heavy truck replacement parts for the over-the-road industry. So I was working down in North Carolina, they brought me up and interviewed me, and it went from, if you work for us, when can you come? So my job was to expand all at NASCAR back then. So over the time involved with NASCAR, we ended up making 69 different Ford 9-inch ratios, and we established Motive Gear Performance in a big way. So my big competitor at the time was Richmond Gear. They were like the Mount Everest, and then 13 years ago, we bought them. So we inherited a transmission range, so completely redesigned the transmissions. Today we have the Super T10, the Richmond 5-speed, the internal rail 5-speed, and moved into 9310 gear sets, have everything for Corvette, Stingrays, everything. So just ballooned. So 28 years later, here I am, and it's been very, very successful. So we just keep on increasing our line, and now today we're a huge company. So it's worked out well. So if we can pass that on to various people and get connected, but now back then, a lot of our competitors were Precision Gear, US Gear. US Gear's just down to a very small part now. Precision's gone, Renegade Gear's gone, so we've been very lucky. So now we stand up as Motive Gear and also Richmond Gear. So.
And you were mentioning the material that you use is kind of what sets you apart, it's specifically for I'm trying to remember the names, for the rear end, what are these called again?
We have 3 different types of material. So we have what's called 5140, which is used in a lot of our regular replacement stuff. This one here would be known as this is a Corvette C6 Z06 ring and pinion. We use like an 8620H. Of course, we use European materials, but those numbers are so long, nobody would understand them. So, and over here we have the 9310. This is what we do our top fuel gear sets out, funny car, top dragster, alcohol dragster. We have that. We manufacture that for a number of different companies who use them. So what's threatening is we're the only ones that do it now. So,
Okay.
so the supply line has been tough lately because Ukraine war, the Israeli war, everything in military, they use this material. So whenever there's a conflict, they lock the material down and we don't have, or nobody has access to it except for the military. So, you know, we've had to do a lot of special things to get that done. So.
Awesome. And it's one big company with four components to it. I'm going to pan over so that everybody can see the different parts of it, but what are the different, if you wouldn't mind just saying what the different ones, obviously motive gear and Richmond's transmission, but what are the other two and what kind of products do they have?
So basically it's come down to, we were sold last year and they combined two companies together, which historically going back to World War II, it was two Jewish companies. So the company that I work for, Motive Gear, Midwest Truck and Auto Parts, started in 1946. And the other one was S&S Truck Parts, and they've combined us together now. They solely did heavy truck parts. They had tried to do some of this stuff when we were competitors, and it didn't work out so well for them. So they have another huge range of parts. So doing all the engineering for both companies, it's getting busy. So 1 year into it. So now we have locations in Chicago, Crown Point, Indiana, Atlanta, Georgia, Ontario, California, a new one in Pennsylvania, and also one in Atlanta. So we're combining everything together and we've turned into a giant company. When I started, it was 19 million. This year we'll do 275 million. So it's turned into a really big thing over 28 years. So, and just further more to go.
That's awesome.
So we do a lot of stuff, transfer cases, axles. So, I mean, we have all sorts of things. Road Ranger cases. If you want to do an 18-speed Road Ranger for a Kenworth, we've got everything in-house. So it just gets bigger and bigger all the time. So
if someone wants to look into what products you guys have, where should they look?
Basically go to our websites, www.motivegear.com, www.midwesttruckautoparts.com, S&S Truck Parts, and it'll all come into our whole arena of parts that we do. So right now we're combining both and getting like-for-like numbers, which has been huge, but you know, we probably have close to 1.8 million square feet under roof. We're completely revamping everything in our satellite stations, and you know, we ship to almost 150 countries around the world, so it's just a really big picture now. So very lucky.
That's awesome. And he's the one that makes everything happen. He's
Well,
the one that does all the
engineering.
you can't do anything without the engineering.
Well,
so.
fortunately, I mean, and what sets us off from everybody else is our team. We have, and part of our team, one guy's 44, Rick Linville, 44 years, his brother 36 years, and our team here at SEMA Show, the youngest amount of time is 15 years. I've done 28. So all the same, and you know, that has been the secret over the parting of Precision Gear. US Gear's had various teams and different bankruptcies and stuff. So pretty much that core team is why we sold. Our parent company is a company called InvestCorp, which is $40 billion in revenue. Mm-hmm. So it's a very big picture thing now. So they bought us because of our foundation and knowledge, and we've got experts in export, also in sales, heavy truck parts, hydraulics. So it's turned out to be an incredible thing. Plus we're growing. We're about to grow the whole S&S truck part things right across. We've a lot of people employed now to source parts and all the rest of it. So we're just going to be keep on growing. You know, there's big targets. So
that's awesome. Well, I'm going to put all the information. If you guys are interested in supporting them, I highly suggest doing that. we're going to be doing more together. So you guys are going to see more. We're going to be going out to North Carolina to the assembly plant. We're going to be doing a lot of work with them, and you'll be able to see more about each individual brand. And I just want to say thank you.
No worries.
It's been great.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Well, that's a wrap on day 3 of SEMA. I got 4 amazing interviews, and I am really excited to start working with these companies and continue building these relationships, because not only am I learning a lot, but I feel like us combined can help other people as well. And I'm really excited for what the future holds. I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 4.